Happy Friday! 88 degrees. Pay no mind as to why I said it like that. Happy Friday! Like, really? I don't know. I almost called the husband right now by accident. So that would have been bad. He's asleep. He said he has to wake up at 3 in the morning to start driving. You all, my car smells new. I took it today for that oil change, tire rotation, and auto butler. The first one's free, right? The first oil change and tire rotation free. You know what? I had a feeling she was here. Is she visiting? She's visiting. Who is she visiting? My ex-neighbor is here. I wonder who she's visiting. It's Friday and I was like, I have a feeling she's here. I just have this feeling. Oh, well, her plants are still outside. Is she still moving? Wow. Okay. Anyhow, when I got there to check in, I got there 15 minutes early, which was a mistake. I should have gotten there earlier, but I'm lazy. What can I say? I admit it. I'm lazy. I'm not a morning person. I dread going in, But I got there and the girl, the service writer, very, very nice. She made it so easy to talk to her and to get along with her. And I'll say more about that in a minute. But I was telling her, she's like, so you're here for the oil change and the tire rotation. Okay, the first one is free, and congratulations on your Buick. And then she says, oh, you're here for the auto butler too. She's like, that is going to be a 4 to 5 hour wait because it takes some time, for the treatment and everything. And I said, okay, and she had me sign and everything. And then I was telling her, Buick used to give 4 oil changes ago. This is my 3rd Buick. And I remember, at one time they used to give 4 free oil changes. And she was like, oh, but that's because they include that in the contract when you sign and da-da-da-da. And she's like, well, that's the way they used to do it where I worked. But no, I remember clearly that it was Buick. That's why I wanted a Buick so badly too, because of the free oil changes. Not like your Nissan though. At your Nissan dealership, I think you get those for life. They always say they used to. I don't know about now, but they would always say free oil changes for life at your Nissan dealerships. I don't know if they're still doing that or not, so don't take what I'm saying, as written in stone, because I don't know. I never worked for Nissan. I worked for GMC Buick. So, anyhow, you all, when she said 4 to 5 hours, she meant it. I got there about 8:45 for the 9 o'clock appointment. I did not leave until 3 o'clock. It was excruciating. In the service area, I feel like they purposely do not put a television there so nobody can wait for their vehicles. They don't want anybody there. Now, everybody was on their phone. I sat where I wanted to sit, which was on a stool, a chair stool, on top of, not on top of, but by a counter that had an outlet. Because I was like, I brought my charger, because I know I want to be on my phone a lot, And I started watching a movie on Netflix called Tin and Tina. Yeah, Tin, T-I-N, and Tina, T-I-N-A, right? I got that recommendation on X. Somebody recommended that movie, and it looked really good. It was interesting, but I couldn't finish it. I don't know. I was getting frustrated with the kids. The kids were psycho. And so there was that, right? And then it started going through Instagram Reels, and then I went on YouTube and I started watching some reaction videos and stuff, and then I started watching dog videos, funny dog videos, and then cat videos, and then I was finally like, I'm done. I don't want to see my phone anymore, I want to leave. And it was only 12. And I was just like, man, let me check at least to see if they already did the oil change and all that. And, I went up to the service writer and she's like, well, we did do the oil change already in the tire rotation. So the good news is it's already over there in the back and they're applying the auto butler. I said, okay, great. But again, auto butler, it takes 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. It's a treatment. And they have to make sure it sets in. It's like what do they call it? A ceramic coating on the outside of your vehicle. And then they also treat the seats, right? And this is to protect your paint, on your vehicle from the sun, from other natural environment. And now it doesn't protect against hail. Knock on wood. It doesn't protect against that. So it's mainly like the other environment, like your sun, rain, whatever else that can cause your vehicle to discolor or rust, And I will say this though, I had it on my other Encore, my regular Encore, and it was a really nice little car, by the way. It was an SUV, sold very fast. However, I would get the coating on that also, but I noticed that it faded a lot on top. And I'm like, why is it fading so much on top? Like, do they not do the top? Or what's the deal, So, I don't know what happened there. So I didn't even ask about that this time. I completely forgot, just like I forgot on asking her, because I was there so long and I wanted to leave. I was really, really hungry already, even though I took like a breakfast bar as a snack. I forgot to ask her, how do I check the oil in this thing, I want to know like what percentage I'm at, But anyhow, because we started talking about cats. Apparently she has a black cat. She liked my little air freshener thingy, this thing right here that I call Tabby also. And she says, I like your air freshener thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I got it at the Bath and Body, during Halloween. And then she's like, do you have a black cat? And I said, actually I do. How nice of you to ask. And I showed her my phone and my cat's there. Not pictures of my kids or grandkids. It's my cat, okay? And on the bottom I put, love you, Mom. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, I have a black cat too. And I forgot what name she told me. I think it's Griseldo, something like that. It was in Spanish. And I'm like, ooh, a Spanish black cat, Very cute. He's younger though, way younger than my cat. I loved him though. And then she starts telling me how she has 27 cats. And I said, what? Excuse me? Like, I always thought about, if things don't work out between me and the husband, or the time comes when the husband goes bye-bye, I'm not dating anyone. I'm not going to get with anybody else. No. I have it already in my head that I'm going to get, like, maybe 4 cats. Tops. But I am not going to have a man in my life. No. No, thank you. The only man is Jesus, He's my man right now, but, for sure, But she has 27 cats, including Griseldo, And she's like, yeah, and I have a whole bunch of females. I did rescue one calico, though. I found her. Nobody wanted her. I brought her in. but now I need to get them all spaded. And she's like, and I want to take them all at the same time. And I'm like, excuse me, you want to take all 27 cats? Okay, yeah, it's still recording. You want to take all 27 cats at the same time to get spaded? I don't even think they have enough time to do all of them in a day, you know? You're probably going to have to leave them there for the week or something, you know, or pick them up in batches. You know, they'll probably tell you, ma'am, you can come for the first 5 today, and then come for the next 5 tomorrow, and the next 5, and we'll go like that, you know? But, yeah, I was like, wow. But, you know, I really like what she's doing, that she's rescuing these cats. She's like, I'm getting them spaded, and then if they'll be adoptable, and if anybody wants them, they could just let me know, you know, we'll put them on Facebook or whatever, you know, and see who wants to adopt them. But if not, they're mine, you know. And I was thinking like, oh man, I wish I could do that. I've always talked about that here, where I wish I could buy land or a building or something where I could take my rescues in there and keep my kitties in there, you know, get them spaded and neutered, and but not really have them in cages, but like let them roam around, you know, and of course being supervised with cameras and people in the building, and, you know, just providing a safe environment for them and for people to be able to go and maybe volunteer, hang out there, or just, you know, they want a safe space. You can hang out there with all these cats, play around with them, and maybe that would encourage people to want to adopt one, you know. But if not, they'll be mine, you know. But I have also thought about that with chickens, you know, and I was telling the husband that, you know, that I wanted a chicken coop. If we had a house somewhere out in the country, I would want a chicken coop and have my chickens there. But these chickens are my pets, you know, they're not to eat. Now, if they have eggs, yeah, you can have the eggs. I don't eat them, right? But not to consume. And then he was telling me about, the husband was telling me today, wherever he was at, I forgot where he was at. I think he was on his way to Tennessee or something. And he says, yeah, I just ran by this. They were having some kind of event where you could buy a cow and get it slaughtered and take it home. You know, take the meat home. And I was like, why are you killing me like this? Why are you doing this to me? Why would you say that to me, you know? And he's like, oh, okay. Well, then no meat for you, no burgers, no more steaks, no more fajitas, no more ribs, no more chicken fried steak, chicken fried steak, or country fried steak. That's what it's called, not chicken fried steak. And no more chickens either for you. You're just not eating any meat at all. And I said, well, you know what? If I could wean myself off, I probably would, you know, get to that point, you know. But, you know, no, you know, these cows, when you see them, when I see a cow, I see them as a pet. I don't see them as food. That's crazy to me. Even if it was the apocalypse and I was starving, I wouldn't see them as food. You know, that I know I sound crazy now, but I wouldn't see them that way, you know. But anyway, I'm deterring from what I wanted to say. The service girl, she, as long as I was there, she just made it so much nicer. Like, I could have been ticked off and everything, the old me, you know. I would have been really ticked off and like just been kind of like snappy back or something because they had me waiting that long. But I wasn't. Like, she just made me feel so comfortable and kept me calm. She had this calmness about her, you know. And I was like, man, I wish I could have that effect on people, you know, because I don't. Sometimes, like, I'll tell you this much. I may sound nice here in my videos, but a lot of people think I'm not approachable because the expressions on my face. I'm just a dead giveaway by the expressions on my face. I cannot hide it. I'm sorry, you know? And I was even told one time that I had a resting bitch face. I was like, really? You know when that happened? When I was working at the dealership. And one of the service girls comes up to me and she's like, you know what, Moon? You're actually a really nice person. I thought you were like a bitch because you have that resting bitch face, but you're actually really nice. And I was just like, thank you. Nice to talk to you too, you know? But I said, no, I get it. I said, sometimes I know I look unapproachable, but I'm always like either deep in thought or I'm ticked off. Either one of those. So there, I gave myself away to you. Like, whenever you see me, like, don't think that, oh, she don't like me. It's just that it's either she's really deep in thought or she's ticked off at something or someone, you know, like. But I've changed a lot, though, I can say that. I used to have a really bad temper at one time, but I have changed tremendously, thank God. And it's been through God, not because of my own works, that's for sure. But being there in the service department, I ran into one of the finance managers that I used to work with back at the other dealership, because everybody at the other dealership where we all met migrated over here to this dealership. And he looked so much older now, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I was like, you look so much older now, you're grown up. And then he's like, yeah, man, I'm getting so old, I'm 42. Or no, he said he was going to be 43 already. And I said, I'm just like staring at him like, I'll gladly take 44 over what I am right now, sir, you know, like. And I said, well, you look great. You look like you're doing great. I'm very proud of you. And then he was just like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I said, how are your kids? I said, last time that I was here, you said that your daughter was in college. And he's like, she's graduated. She's now a psychologist. I was like, what? She's a psychologist? Yes, she got her doctorate. I was like, what? I go, that's amazing. That is amazing. I would love to have that title, you know? And then I was just like, where is she working? And then he told me, right? And I said, yeah, like, give me the name of the place. You know, give me her name too. Well, she's just started. She's new. She just started. Doesn't matter. She needs a patient and I'm willing to sign up, you know? And he's like, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And I'm like, trust me, buddy, I need it, you know? Because, you all, I am seeing a counselor right now, but like I said, I really don't feel like I'm making any progress. I did some research today on something else, and I'll go over that maybe tomorrow or during the week. I need to print them out. I was chatting with ChatGPT, and oddly enough, I'm getting so much information from ChatGPT, even though I hate it. But if I ask it the right questions, it'll give me actual information, you know, but it won't give me like other information. It's weird, but, yeah, I feel like I'm making more progress sometimes with ChatGPT by asking it and why can't I say that word now? Navigating. Thank you, Moon. In how I want the conversation to go. Because yesterday when I went to counseling, I started out with one thing, right? I started talking about that the touching type of thing, right? And one question became another question, and pretty soon the whole conversation was about the husband and his family. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to briefly continue last week's conversation and close it and start this new one because there was something else I wanted to talk about. But before I knew it, the hour was over And I'm like, great, here I go again. I didn't get to cover this. Next week, she's going to be out. So I'm going to have to wait 2 weeks to talk about what I really wanted to talk about. You know, and I just, I don't like that we get fixated on one thing when I go to counseling and I get no closure and no, not solution, but no indication of any progress. And I don't know what the word that would be, you know, but I just feel like I'm needing more. Like I feel like this was a good start, but now I need more. If that makes any sense. And I'm sure it does to a lot of you all. But yeah, I just, I don't know, man. Like, there is so much going on in my head all the time. And I just don't have the right words to put. And I feel like so dumb sometimes because I feel like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I communicate clearly? Why do I sound like all over the place all the time? And believe you me, sometimes I have conversations with myself and I'll sit there and I'll be like, what am I trying to say? Self, what are you trying to say? And I feel bad for God sometimes because I'm talking to God and I'm like, God probably like, what is she trying to say? You know, child. So what I'm hearing is you need help, you know? Like, yes, Lord. Yes, thank you. You know, but it's just, I hate the way my mind is wired. Too many thoughts coming in at one time, and I'm just like, whoa, slow down. Like, I don't know where to start. And that's exactly how I go into counseling a lot, you know? I'll be thinking about the night before, oh, I want to talk about this and this and this. But then when I get there, it goes completely a different direction, you know? And she's kind of like the one guiding that. And I have no control over it. And I'm just like, I don't like this. Not that I'm a control freak. I kind of am. But I just wish I could talk about what I wanted to talk about and close it and then move on to something else, you know? But anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I just thought I'd do a quick check-in. And thank you for listening. Enjoy your Friday. And I will talk to y'all again tomorrow.